It was a gray Tuesday morning when Mark Ellison walked into the small-town bank with the weight of 3 generations on his shoulders. His flannel shirt was pressed, his boots freshly polished, his last attempt to look like the man who could still save his family's farm. Across the polished desk sat Emily Carter, the bank's manager, known in town for her calm authority and unshakable fairness. But that morning, her hands trembled just slightly as she read his loan request. The numbers didn't lie. Mark was deep underwater. A failed harvest, rising interest rates, and mounting medical bills had left the Ellison farm on the brink. Emily wanted to find a way, any way, to help him. But the system was rigid, and she knew the truth. Approving this loan could cost her job. Still, something about his tired eyes, somewhere between hope and defeat, stayed with her. "Please," he said quietly, his voice cracking. "This land isn't just dirt. It's my dad's life, my granddad's. It's everything." Emily looked down, her heart twisting. Yet after a long pause, all she could say was, "I'm so sorry, Mark." His shoulders fell as he nodded. "I get it," he whispered. "Just doing your job." He walked out into the rain, and Emily sat frozen, staring at the signed rejection notice, wishing she'd been someone with more power than a policy-bound manager. If you believe true kindness always finds its way back, please tap the like button now and subscribe to support more stories like this. That night, Emily couldn't sleep. She kept picturing the way Mark had looked back at the bank before driving off, the ache in his expression. Around midnight, she opened her laptop and began searching public records. She found the exact amount he owed, down to the cent, and then she made a decision that wasn't in any rule book. By morning, Emily was in her car, following the old county road toward the Ellison property. The farmhouse looked worn but proud, a place that had seen decades of sunrises and struggles. Mark was out front, loading a truck, his face pale and exhausted. When Emily stepped out, he froze. "Emily? What are you doing here?" She took a breath, steadying her voice. "I couldn't stop thinking about what you said. I know I had to deny the loan, but that doesn't mean I have to stand by and watch you lose everything." Mark blinked, unsure if he'd heard right. Emily walked up, holding a sealed envelope. "This isn't charity," she said. "It's hope. I've seen too many good people break under bad luck. Not today." Inside that envelope was a certified check, enough to pay off his entire debt, from her own savings. Mark's hands trembled as he opened it. You can't do this." "I already did," Emily said softly. "It's between us. No bank records, just a person helping another person." Tears welled up in Mark's eyes. He tried to speak, but all he could manage was a choked whisper. "Why me?" Emily looked out toward the barn, where a rusted weather vane turned slowly in the breeze. "Because someone once saved me when I didn't deserve it," she said. "And I promised I'd do the same one day." The next week, rumors spread around town. Folks noticed that the Ellison farm wasn't for sale anymore. The auction signs came down. Mark was seen at the hardware store again, smiling for the first time in months. When people asked how he'd managed to turn things around, he just said, "Someone believed I was worth saving." Emily never told anyone what she'd done. She went back to work, quiet as always, her heart lighter than it had been in years. But every time she passed the Ellison farm and saw the lights on in the old farmhouse, she felt something she hadn't in a long time. Peace. Months later, Mark stopped by the bank with a small wooden box. Inside was a silver keychain shaped like a heart, carved with the words, "Kindness grows." He smiled. "I don't know if I can ever repay you, but I'll spend the rest of my life trying." Emily smiled back, her eyes glistening. Then, "We're even." We'd love to hear your story. What is the most memorable act of unexpected kindness you have witnessed or received? Share it in the comments below. That night, Emily walked home under the fading sunset. She knew what she'd done might never make headlines or earn recognition, but she also knew something far more powerful. Sometimes, the kindest acts aren't the ones you can justify. They're the ones you choose despite everything. And somewhere down that same road, Mark's children played in the fields their father had once feared losing, laughter echoing across acres that almost vanished. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to remind the world that compassion still matters, and that even one person's kindness can save more than just a farm.